Hey everyone, how are you? In this video, we are going to solve the Leetcode problem of the day, and the problem is vowel spell checker. The problem category is of medium level, but I would say it's just some conditional based problem which you can tackle one step at a time, and this is going to be very easy. In this problem, we are given a word list which will look something like this. So we have a word list which contains multiple strings, and we are also given another queries list which contains multiple strings as well. We want to implement a spelling checker or spell checker that is going to convert your query word into the correct word. So basically every word in your queries has a correct word. For example, kite will have a correct word as kite. This kite will have a correct word as this particular kite. Notice that you have the T as lowercase, T as uppercase in the output. So for every string in your query, there is a correct word. You just need to map your original string to its correct word in the output. Now for a given query word, the spell checker handles two categories of spelling mistakes, capitalization and vowel errors. Let us first understand the capitalization. In this, if the query matches a word in the word list, which is case insensitive, then the query word is returned with the same case as the case in the word list. Here what it wants to say is, if your word in the query, let us say your word in the query is yellow, notice that the O and Y in this yellow, in the query yellow, is uppercase. This particular word is going to match another word, or basically this particular word has its correct word as yellow in the word list. And why is this particular word has a match with yellow? And the reason is because of capitalization. If the query word, basically yellow, matches a word in the word list, case insensitive, if you make a comparison between this particular word and this particular word in the word list, both are same if you ignore them as lowercase or uppercase, right? So basically capitalization says that if the query matches a word in the word list, then the query word is returned with the same case as the case in the word list. In the word list, the correct word is yellow with Y and O as lowercase. Basically all the characters are lowercase. So the correct word for this particular query yellow is going to be yellow with all characters lowercase. Now talking about vowel errors, in this, if after replacing the vowels are A, E, I, O, U of the query word with any vowel individually, it matches a word in the word list. In this case, again, it has to be a case insensitive match. Then the query word is returned with the same case as the match in the word list. Now it wants to say that a vowel error, basically what we are talking about is the categories of spelling mistakes which are handled by our spell checker function. So we handle the vowel errors as well. That is, if the query is YOLO, we have YOLLOW as our characters in this word, then this is going to have a correct word as yellow. Basically this yellow, this correct word is coming from the word list. You have to match this particular query with this particular string in the word list, and the reason is, if you match both the strings character by character, the only difference in these strings are at the vowels. You have y, right? Again it has to be a case insensitive matching, so it is y, then y, it is fine. It is e and it is o, but since both are vowels and the point says that we can replace the vowels a, e, I, o, u of the query word with any vowel individually. So we could say that this o is actually equal to e. So now this will be E and this is going to be E, and both are matching. Then we have two L's, both are matching. Then we have a O and W, and then we have a O and W. So for this particular word in the query, this is the correct word, and we have to say YOLO will become yellow. So these are the two categories of rules we need to understand. And then in addition to this, the spell checker operates under the following precedence rule. There is a precedence, there is an order based on which we have to implement our spelling checker. That is, first order is when the query exactly matches a word in the word list, case sensitive matching, you should return the word back. The thing is, we have to match each of our query to its correct word. If for a particular query there is a word in the word list, then that has to be its correct word, and this will be exact matching, or I can say case sensitive matching. Lowercase character should match the lowercase character, uppercase character should match the uppercase character. In this case, you should return the same word back. For example, if you see in this particular input, example number 1, the query is kite, kite, all lowercase. So it is going to match kite, kite. Basically both are the same word and the characters and the casing are matching, right? Also you can see for here, HARE, we have a HARE here, right? So the output for HARE here is exactly the same word HARE. So that's the first preference. If you have the same word which is case sensitive, same word if you have in the word list, then that is going to be the correct word. Otherwise, when the query matches a word up to capitalization, you should return the first such match in the word list. That is, for example, let us talk about KITE. Now this KITE doesn't exactly match any of these four words, right? So now we are going to match it with its capitalization form. Capitalization says that if the query matches a word in the word list, it has to be a case insensitive match, then that will be the correct word. That is, if this kite, K-I-T-E, where K is the capital or uppercase, if this kite matches any word here, case insensitive match, then it will be the correct match here. Now, if I say K-I-T-E, it actually matches to K-I-T-E and K-I-T-E. Both the words it match in the word list. But the question says that you should return the first such match in the word list. So the first matching here is K-I-T-E. So for this K-I-T-E, this K-I-T-E, this one is actually the correct word. Now the next rule is when the query matches a word up to vowel error, you should return the first such match in the word list. Now let us talk about this particular query, K-E-T-I. Now in this case, you will see that this is not matching any of these words, right? It is not matching in case sensitive or case insensitive way to these words. But if you see, we can replace this E with an I, right? So this is the third rule which says that if your query matches a word up to vowel errors, then you should return the first such match in the word list. So I can say I can replace this E in my query to a I, and I can replace this I to a E, right? So this will become K-I-T-E, and this is going to match both of these words. But since this is the first word with which it is going to match, then this is something which is going to be the correct for KT or KITE. The output is going to be KITE, the first word. And the last is, if the query has no match in the word list, you should return the empty string. For example, there are some words like we have word as KETO. For KETO we have a matching, but for KEET we don't have a matching. So the empty string is returned for this. So based on these rules, we have to do the work, and let's start solving the problem one step at a time. So first of all, let us understand that we have 4 rules, right? So we have to give the precedence to these 4 rules. So let us first work for the first rule. The first rule says that if a query exactly matches to a word in the word list, we should return that same word. So what I can do is I can actually create a set of my word list for faster lookup. I can say original, this is going to store all the original data in my word list. I can say original is equal to set of word list, because I'm going to go through all the queries and I have to look up into my word list to match the exact word. So I am taking a set so that I can do the lookup faster. And now I can take a variable, and let's name the variable as result, which is an empty list. Now let us run a loop in the queries for q in queries. I can have a first condition that if the given q, the given query word is in original. If it is in the original, then we can say result dot append q, right? Because we have found this q, the query directly in the word list, exact match is there, the case sensitive match, that is the first precedence. So we are going to add that particular data for our word. Basically for every word, for every query, we are going to map it to its correct word in the result list. Next is, if my query word is not in the original, then we are going to utilize the second rule, which is when the query matches a word up to capitalization, you should return the first such match in the word list. Now here we have to understand that this is a case insensitive matching. Capitalization is a case insensitive matching, right? We can see it in our problem. So we have to store our word list in case insensitive way. So what we can basically do is we can just convert our query word and word list to lowercase, or I can do it in uppercase as well. I can choose any. So let us choose lowercase. Let us convert our word list and the query word to lowercase, and then we are going to match those words. If those are matching, then we are sure that we have a match in our word list for our given query q, and that's a capitalization match. But the problem says that you have to map it with the original word, right? So for every word in my word list, I have to convert it to lowercase, and I have to know that what was the original word. So for that, what I can do is I can actually create a dictionary for mapping, and I can run a loop in my word list for w in word list. And now I can say the lower form of w is w.lower. If this lower form is not in capped, we are going to store all our mapping in this capped dictionary. So if this lowercase is not in capped, so simply we can say capped of lowercase is equal to w. Here what we are doing is for every word we are converting it to lowercase, and when we will compare it in our queries, we are also going to convert our queries to lowercase. And if that lowercase query is already in the capped, then we are going to say this is the w, this is the original word w, which is going to be the correct word for my query. This is the capitalization rule. So once I have stored my data, once I have stored my mapping, I can have another condition in my queries that if my query is not in original, then elif q in capped. But not q, we have to convert our q to lowercase, right? So I can say lw is equal to q dot lower, and if this lw is in capped, it means for my query it has a matching in the capped. So we have to take the original word from the capped. So I could say result dot append capped of lw, right? for my current query word, this is the exact match or this is the correct matching word. Now the third rule says that you have to match your words, but if the words are not matching at the vowels, then also those are fine. You have to match your words based on the vowel error rule. The vowel error rule says that two words are same. For example, this yellow and this YOLO is same if they are exactly same apart from the characters which are vowel, right? Because in my query, I can just convert my character of vowel to the same character in my word list. For example, I can say O is now converted to E just for matching it, right? So what we can actually do is we can actually mask our vowels in our words to some common character. For example, if it is, let us say, YOLO, right? Now how can I say this YOLO is equal to this yellow? I can say if it is a vowel, let's say this is underscore and this is underscore, and if it is vowel, this is underscore and this is underscore. Now you will see both are matching, right? So I could just mask my characters which are vowels to some other character, let us say underscore, and then do the comparison. So let me create a function which is going to do the masking. So def mask of my current string s. I have to return a string. So for that, first I will convert it. First I will take advantage of list. I can say for c in s dot lower, because we have to do the comparison, right? And the comparison will be case insensitive. So let me convert my string to lower when I am masking it. And now I can say if c in a e I o u. If c is a vowel, in this case my character will be an underscore, else it is going to be the original character c, right? And now I can convert it back to a string. So I can say dot join function. I can make use of dot join method, and this is the way to do the masking in your string s. And also I'm converting it to lowercase as well, right? So now what I can do is I can create another mapping. I can say v error vowel error mapping, and this will be equal to another dictionary. And again we are going to utilize our word list loop. Let us say nw, the new word, is equal to the masking of w, the masked of w. That is, mask the word w, and now this nw will be utilized for vowel error checks. I can say if nw not in v error, so simply I can say v error of nw is equal to w. Now notice here we are not doing the change in w, right? W is our original word from the word list, because we have to map it to the actual word in the word list, but based on certain conditions like capitalization, like vowel error checks, right? So now I have my data ready. I can just go in the queries. I can say first I have to convert my query to the new word, that is the masked word. So I can say the new word for my query is going to be using the mask function. I can mask my query, and now I can say elif this nw in v error, right? This particular dictionary v error. If that is in the v error, then result dot append for my current query word. This v error is going to give me the exact correct word, and the key will be nw, right? Else, if none of these three conditions are true, the question says that it means your word has no match, return an empty string for that particular query. I can say result.append empty string, and now finally we can return the result, submit the particular solution, and this is going to pass all the test cases for this particular problem in a very efficient way as well. You can see the runtime is fine, the memory used is fine as well. So we have solved this problem in a very efficient way, guys. So the whole logic of this particular problem was tackling the matching conditions one by one. You can see we are tackling the matching condition with original, then capital, then v errors, and then we have a result, right? First of all, we are mapping our capitalization error and v error in this particular word list call. And why are we doing this? The reason is we have to take the first data, right? There can be multiple matching capitalization word or v error words. We have to take the first one. So simply we can say if the current is not already in my dictionary, then I'm going to store it in my dictionary, and later on I'm going to ignore it. I'm not going to override my dictionary data. Once I have the data in my dictionaries, I can simply do a query for original, then the capitalization error, then the vowel error, else it is going to be empty. So guys, I think we have solved this particular problem. And if you like the solution, if you understood the solution, and if you got to know about the problem and the solution approach, then make sure that you hit that like button. And if you have not subscribed to my channel as of now, then make sure that to subscribe to the channel as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. I want to see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching this one.